Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So today I want to talk about something actually very deeply personal um, that, might help somebody else. So I want to talk about how exactly homesteading saved my life. So me and my wife, we've been homesteading now for about 4 years. We started really homesteading in like 2019, but didn't really realize that that's what we were doing until like 2020. But so I want to talk about the precursor to how we started homesteading and how it actually has greatly impacted my life and ultimately saved it. So let's backtrack to 2017. So in 2017, I was a nurse's aide in a nursing home working, 40 to 60 hours a week, just depending upon how much they needed me to pick up. I also was completely on track to going to nursing school to become an LPN. Everything in our lives was pretty much lining up for a very great and successful future for me. Until one day, I was getting ready to go to work and I forgot that I had left my fishing poles in the bed of our regular F-150. Not anything super crazy or nothing. And so I hopped up there to get the fishing poles out. When I stepped down from the bumper, I didn't even jump down or anything. I rolled my ankle, my good ankle, and ruptured 2 tendons in that ankle. I continued working with those ruptured tendons for a couple of months actually. Still was planning on going forward with nursing school and all of my other ambitions in life until the ankle wouldn't heal. So at first we didn't know that I had ruptured 2 tendons. We just knew that my ankle was really jacked. And so I just kept gimping through and powering through and, suffering through every single shift and every day. And then eventually I got to the point where I was like, I can't take this anymore. So I convinced my doctor that I really needed further investigation into it and looking at it and stuff. And so he set me up with an orthopedic doctor, and it was determined that I had ruptured 2 tendons and that my ankle needed surgery. And it was completely destroyed. So fast forward to having surgery and stuff. My surgery was scheduled for 2 days before I was supposed to start nursing school. Well, when I discovered that, I basically was forced to dropping out of nursing school because, I was going to be non-weight bearing for 8 weeks. During that 8-week time period, the rest of my body pretty much fell apart, and that ended up leading me to discover that I had Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that makes it so that way all of your collagen is basically made of junk. And so all of my tendons and ligaments are very fragile, and my cartilage wears out faster than most people's. So basically, I'm my joints are deteriorating at the same rate as an elderly person. So it's kind of a big bummer. But so after discovering all of that, I from after having the surgery and stuff and deconditioning because I wasn't doing so much physical activity, my body really just started falling apart, like severely falling apart to the point that I was scared that in the next year I probably would be in a wheelchair. Like that's how bad it deteriorated. And I was, always super active, super into fitness and working out and, just being really energetic and physical. And so that was extremely depressing to, basically be staring down the future of not being mobile anymore. And I was like 25. So it was very, very hard, very difficult. And I pretty much felt like I had lost everything. There was some other personal things that had happened in my life at that stage as well that also compounded on top of me losing my mobility and top of me losing my career and all of these things. So it was like basically getting hit with every whammy that you possibly could from, every angle. And it put me honestly into a severely horrible place mentally. Throughout my entire adulthood life and even teenage years and stuff, I've pretty much always struggled with depression and a lot of anxiety. And so basically losing all of that stuff caused my depression to spiral out of control to the point that I honestly was not interested in continuing on. The only thing that really honestly kept me here on the planet was Tracy and stuff because I couldn't bear the thought of, in my darkest times and in her darkest times of life, me just abandoning her. So it was definitely a very, very hard time. And around that time, we also ended up moving to our house that we had in town. While I was living in that house in town, I was like, I have to find something to do that, is somewhat physical, that, makes me feel like I'm contributing to our household and makes me feel good about myself. And through that is when I started gardening. And it was just like container gardening. Like, it wasn't anything fancy or anything like that. And then from there, we decided to do a little bit bigger of a garden the next year. And then we just pretty much kept doubling it each year until our final year of living there, which I ended up being able to produce enough food on our quarter-acre lot of land to, well, we're still eating from it. Last year we didn't have a harvest at all. Like, it was pretty much zilch is what we harvested last year, while we were living in a camper and just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, like, through homesteading and through that constant need of doing something more and pushing my body, I've actually saved myself. Like, getting the chickens when we got them in 2020 gave me so much purpose and so much life poured into me, because even when I was struggling and having a really, really awful day and stuff, like mentally or physically or even just, emotionally, because I've had a pretty rough go with a lot of things throughout my life. And anybody that knows me on a personal level, they know what I'm talking about. But so through having the animals and having the chickens, the chickens didn't care if I felt like shit and stuff. They didn't care if I felt horrible and, just wanted to cry constantly. They didn't care. They needed me to be there, to show up, to give them food, to give them water and stuff. And that needing that something else and someone else was relying on solely me, it pushed me completely past the point of breaking and pushed me past the point of wanting to end it. Because if I wasn't there, who was going to take care of them? Who was going to take care of the dogs? Tracy worked like a massive amount and stuff. Who was going to take care of everything? Who was going to harvest the garden? Who was going to do all this stuff if I wasn't there? And the responsibility of having the chickens and then also getting the rabbits and then also ending up with getting quail and stuff, it fueled this desire inside of me to just want to do more and be able to do enough that I could then help other people and reach other people. And through all of that, I gained so much physical strength and stuff with doing the gardening and taking care of the animals, because bags of feed, they're still 50 pounds. No matter how tired you are, no matter how sore you are, how weak you are, they're still 50 pounds. Like, if the tote of feed is empty, somebody's got to do it. Even if it's scoop by scoop by scoop, you still gotta process it, still gotta move it, still gotta take care of it. And those simple things of, well, I have no choice, but I have to keep going. I have to do this because other things are relying on me. That propelled me into being able to do so much more physically than I thought that was ever going to be able to happen again. Like, back in 2017, I was really scared to ever see 30. Because I honestly thought that I wouldn't be able to do anything. I thought that my life was pretty much over, especially after getting diagnosed with Ehlers Danlos. Because a lot of people, by the time they're this age and stuff, if they hadn't been properly treated and, taking good care of their body and protecting it, they can't do a lot of stuff and everything, because like deconditioning sets in, and once you lose some of that mobility, it's almost impossible to get it back when you have EDS. Like, it is a very slippery slope, and it is extremely painful and extremely dangerous to, let yourself fall backwards and stuff. And yeah, I was asked the other day by somebody else, I met somebody in real life that has Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, and she was like, I'm amazed by all that you can do. How can you do all this stuff? And it's just, I have no choice. I have to. We've gone this far into it that I have to keep going. I have no choice but to keep going and stuff. If I absolutely hated it, I could totally stop and stuff. But I don't. I like it. This is my passion, and it fuels me, and it heals me, and it creates so much positivity in my life. There goes my wonky finger positioning. But it brings so much joy to me and so much happiness and peace and energy that I don't care if it makes it so that way I end up using up my legs way sooner than I would if I was, just taking it easy all the time. I cannot stand it. Like, I cannot handle it at all to just sit around all day and do nothing. And I know that that's the reality that I'll probably live in as I'm older because of my chosen lifestyle and stuff. But honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like I can't deny my passions. That's part of what set us off on this journey, is the passion to do this lifestyle and to live this life and stuff, and to bring more beauty into the world and help provide for others and create hope for others and inspiration. And just the simple thing of having chickens, like it's done so much for my soul that I could never stop. Because even now, like when I'm deeply upset by something that has happened to me, the first place I want to go is actually in the chicken coop. Like it used to be like hiding in bed and wallowing and crying and just, really being in a funk. But now it's the chickens. The chickens pulled me out of the darkest place I'd ever been in my life, and they continue to do so. They just have a way to like scratch down to the surface of what's actually bothering me, and it's honestly it's beautiful what they are able to do. So with that being said, if you have ever been in the same positioning, which I'm sure not a lot of people have, everybody has their own life situations, but if you're ever in the spot where you feel like really down in the dark and all that stuff, all you have to do is you have to look for something that brings you light, some sort of passion, and then run to it like your life depends on it. Because honestly, my life did depend on it. I've gone to the darkest of the darks and the depths of basically hell and stuff, like mentally and emotionally, and different places that I've been, even physically. Like it has been dark. It has been horrendous where I've been at and stuff. And like, thank God Tracy's been there to help me through it all and stuff. But now I'm strong enough and I'm capable enough to know that I can bring myself back out of those places, that I don't need someone else to save me, that I'm enough to do it myself and stuff. Of course, I might have to have the help of the chickens, but I've learned what I'm capable of. And that just because doctors tell you one thing, it doesn't mean that that's it, that that's the end, that you're basically screwed forever and stuff. Because like I'm supposed to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff and everything, be on all sorts of different medications and everything, because that's what doctors want to do to me. It caused me to have surgery after surgery after surgery after surgery and take nothing but pills constantly, and I'm on nothing. I've refused all sorts of surgeries and stuff because I can treat it on my own. I know my body better than they do. If I have to explain my condition to somebody, they don't have the right to tell me how to treat it when they don't know what it is and stuff. Sometimes you have to be your own advocate for stuff, and sometimes your own self knows what's best for you. But I'm going to end this here because I have some things that I have to tend to. But if you guys are enjoying this content, please give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you're somebody that has been in a place similar to me, please let me know in the comments if you found something that has helped pull you out and stuff. The purpose of this channel is to try to inspire people and help others. And also, do some teaching about like gardening and different things and different methods of doing different things, because I'm not a normal person. I can't do things the same way everybody else can. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.